Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Inspirational Interviews. I'm Hannah Levin with Heartfelt Wellbeing. And today is an interesting little shift that we're going to be doing in our interviews, in that I'm going to be sharing a little bit about the autumn detox that I'll be doing coming up here. And then I'm going to bring on an inspirational interviewee, Janet Beall, who is a member of the Vitality Circle and a really fabulous woman who's gone through several detoxes with me. She's going to share a little bit about her experience. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit about why you might want to detox and what an Ayurvedic detox is. And in the system of Ayurveda, which for those of you who don't know is the sister science to yoga, so you're all here doing yoga from time to time at least. And Ayurveda is the sister science. So it's the way we live our lives, mostly focusing on diet and lifestyle practices that support our health, our longevity, and graceful aging. And part of living an Ayurvedic lifestyle is doing a detox twice a year. And those are done in the spring and in the fall. And so as part of what I offer as a practitioner of Ayurveda, as a yoga teacher, as somebody who builds community and assists people in living better lives, I offer detoxes twice a year. So this autumn's detox is coming up, and it's starting the 28th of September, and it's 3 weeks going until October 19th. So you might ask yourself, why would somebody want to detox? So let me give you some answers of why somebody might want to detox. You might want to detox if you would like to experience better energy. You'd like to learn more about aligning with the rhythms of the seasons. You want to learn more about how food and timing of eating affects your health. You'd like to begin to lose weight naturally and effectively. You need a digestive reset. Your digestion's not treating you so well. You'd like to build better immunity. That's helpful for everybody right now. You'd like to experience more mental clarity. And you'd like to be part of a group for support and accountability. Those times when it's challenging to decide to do something on your own, doing a group detox can be really helpful. Learning more about Ayurveda. If you're trying a detox for the first time, it's great to have guidance and perhaps to experience a different kind of detox. So when you think about the word detox, you might think about fasting, or maybe the master cleanse, which is like the maple syrup, lemon juice, cayenne, and water diet. So I just want to be clear that an Ayurveda detox is very different, and that it's all about nourishment and really clearing out the gunk from the system and slowing down. So the basic premise is to give your body foods that are easy to digest, that are not complex or full of additives, that are fueling you with a little more clean burning fuel than maybe you're used to. And also to help bring attention to both your constitution and the wisdom aligning with that, with the season. So we're going from summer into autumn right now, and depending on where you live, it might feel a little different. Here in Southwestern Virginia, it's getting pretty cold quickly. And already I'm turning towards wanting more soups and stews, tea, and warm cooked foods, and away from more summery cooling foods. So that's a natural tendency that happens in the fall, and we can listen to that and align with that. When we understand our individual constitutions, then we have a whole nother layer with which to work on being able to feed ourselves and nourish ourselves in ways that are really, really beneficial. And we can clear out what we call ama, or toxins in the system. So you probably have ama if you have a coating on your tongue, if you have achy joints and muscles, if you are feeling lethargic and it's hard to motivate yourself to do things, if you experience brain fog, if you have a point in the day where you have a huge energy drop, like in the middle of the afternoon, and if you have stubborn weight gain that you are just fed up with, you might need a little help kind of nudging that ama along its way. So the detox that I lead is 3 weeks long, and there's an easing in week where we really clean out the diet. We clean up the diet and add in foods that are really nourishing and cleansing. And then we do a detox week, which you design depending on your constitution and the level at which you would like to detox. So there's a whole detox guide and a recipe book that comes with it. And you get to pick your recipes and design your own detox. And then the last week is a easing out. So you start adding things back in and noticing how you feel. It's a very simple process, and it can be kind of challenging, as I think Janet might speak to in a little bit. So it can be a really beautiful process where you can improve your digestion, clear out stuff you've been carrying, those toxins, excess heat from the summer, learning to live in alignment with the seasons, to know what you need, particularly in this time of the year as compared to other times of the year. Understanding your unique constitution, optimizing your metabolism, and increasing your mental clarity, increasing energy, sleeping better, and waking up happy. So just to let you all know the structure of the detox, and you're welcome to post questions if you'd like me to see who you are. If you can grant StreamYard permission, then I can see your name. But you're welcome to type in questions to the chat here as well, and I can answer your questions. So the structure, I've gone over just what happens in each of the weeks, and the detox that I run is highly connective. So we have a shared Facebook group that's private, that people are active on, sharing questions and resources and challenges. And I also do 2 calls a week. So they're an hour long, and it's a chance for us to be able to share what's going on, for me to answer questions for the benefit of everybody in the program, and to connect with other people live who are on this same journey with you. So you get an email every Sunday with the curriculum, we could say, for the week of what you're doing that week. And then we have a call on Monday evenings and Thursday at noon Eastern time. And so it's highly connective, wonderful way to be able to be a part of a group and learn from each other as you're detoxing. Some things you might feel as you detox is you might feel a little bit more tired. You might feel like you need to process some things. Like as we release the gunk in our systems, we can also feel emotional release that comes up. And so that can be very cleansing and really helpful as well, especially given what is going on in our world right now. And a lot of us are kind of soldiering on without taking some time to power down and to reflect and to nourish ourselves. And so a detox does all of those things. As we nourish ourselves, we get to pause and reflect, and also think about who we want to be next, how we want to journey forward from the time that we're in and come into the next season. So as we prepare to go from the heat of summer to the cold of winter, we want to make sure that our system is really well prepared for that. And especially during this time of a global pandemic, because our immunity is needing all the help it can get. And for us to know specifically how to nourish ourselves this time of year is incredibly beneficial. So I hope you'll consider joining us for this. Really, it's fun and challenging. I'm not going to lie. It's a fun and challenging experience. And I just want to reiterate that Ayurvedic detoxing is very different from a lot of cleanses or other detoxes you will see out there. It's really about nourishment, not depletion, and creating a clean burning system. So that being said, please feel free to send in questions as we continue on. I'm going to invite Janet to join us here. Before I do that, I just want to read a little bit about her in case you missed the published information on the Facebook page. So Janet began her journey in the Vitality Circle. So that's the year-long program for women that I run online. She began it in the winter of 2018. So she's about to complete her second year in the Vitality Circle, and she's been a mentor this past year. She's a phenomenal mentor for new folks coming in. So she started the Vitality Circle after meeting me as her yoga teacher in Murphy, North Carolina. And she was searching for a new lifestyle that was healthier and would give her strength and happiness. Ayurveda has been that for her. She has eliminated or reduced pharmaceutical medications, changed her eating habits, increased her activity, improved her annual medical test results, improved her sleeping habits, and has lost to date 37 pounds. The Vitality Circle has engaged her mind and spirit and introduced her to a wonderful, supportive, and stimulating group of friends. The power of the group is not to be underestimated. So after graduating from her first year in the Vitality Circle, she was invited to continue as a mentor. She loves her work she does in the Vitality Circle, and she continues to grow. She's a retired school district administrator. She lives with her husband, Bruce, in North Carolina, and they have 3 adult children and 7 grandchildren. And she's an amazing artist doing watercolor, basket weaving, gardening, cooking, and reading. I will say that Janet is a former Southern chef, amazing Southern chef turned Ayurvedic chef, and she's very skilled in the kitchen. So she says one of her life goals is to be in the 90-year-old in yoga class. So without further ado, here comes Janet Beall. Hi, Janet. So nice to have you here.
Hi, Hannah. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on today and being willing to talk about your detox experience. So tell us, did you do any detoxes before the Vitality School?
I did not. That was a new experience for me when I came into the Vitality Circle, and I was pretty apprehensive at first. Yeah. You might remember.
Yes. So tell us about that initial reaction that you had.
Well, it was a big adjustment. I had never done any kind of detox or cleanse, and I really did not know what to expect. And I learned some things the first time through that have helped me to feel better about the experience since then. And I've done each of the detoxes since I've been in the Vitality Circle, and each one seems to get better, in part because I've learned, what to expect and how to make that work for me.
Yes. And I think there is that initial introduction where I will also out Janet as being a Pitta Constitution. And so Pittas like to do everything to the utmost extent and do it perfectly, right? So sometimes there's a little bit of needing to hold back, especially the first time you do a detox, and just do it really gently. And so it can be challenging when you're like, well, I'm not doing everything, or I should do everything. So I think you had some lessons learned along those
I did.
lines too. Yeah.
Did.
So what
And
was, oh, go ahead.
I'm fine.
What was the experience that you, do you want to just lead us through kind of your progressive experience with the detox?
Well, I learned early on that I wasn't supposed to be the expert that Hannah is, and that it was okay for me to be at the beginner level. And I'm probably still beginner slash maybe a little intermediate. But I'm not in the advanced group when it comes to the detox. And that's okay because that works for me. I see it as a way to really clean up my eating and sort of take care of the ways that I've kind of slipped and slid a little bit into old habits that I don't want to keep in my repertoire because they can tend to slide back in. And so this is an opportunity to really be mindful. We keep up with what we eat every day, and just that accountability is powerful. But it isn't just about eating.
Right.
I thought that was what it was about eating. And certainly that's important. But it is about what happens emotionally during that experience. And I probably did only began the last detox to begin experiencing that and be open to that in a way that was helpful. That was a growth process and still is for me. But I'm okay growing. I want to be edgy. I want to be on that learning curve. So I would caution, if you've never done a detox before, take the beginner route. Don't push yourself to do things that aren't comfortable to you. And because I tried that first time through, I tried some things that were objectionable to me. And, I know that today, and I know, how to navigate that. And so I look forward to the detox that we're going to start in several weeks, and we'll be an active part of that. I hope to see a lot of you there.
Yeah, that would be great. I would say, like you just said, you look forward to it, and having done Ayurvedic detoxes, I guess, since I was in Ayurveda school, I've been doing those seasonally now. I really look forward to them because it's not because they're fun. I mean, they are fun to do with the community, but they are a little test of willpower in a way. Which is different from what we practice in the Vitality Circle, which is slow incremental change over time. It's like the easiest step. This is like a quick flash in the pan, not meant to be a lasting new routine that you stick to, but a little reset for the whole body. And I find that at the end of the summer, at the end of the winter, I'm finding myself just kind of being like, ugh. Like, I'm ready for a reset. Like, my tummy doesn't feel as great as I know it can. My energy feels like it could use a little boost. And I'm ready for that detox experience. If you've never experienced it before, though, you don't know what that could bring you. You're just where you are, and you're like, oh, this is how I feel at the end of the winter or the end of the summer. Tell us about how has the support provided affected your journey as you've gone through
the support is wonderful. The 2 calls each week just help to keep us, on the path. And we hear from other people that are doing the same kind of experience. And we talk about recipes. We talk about the way that we've handled the week or the half week. And that's very supportive and encouraging. We get ideas. And so it really does provide that information that makes it doable. We get recipes in our workbook, and that helps, to give us ideas to use as they come or to modify. One of the things that, as Hannah mentioned, I'm a Southern cook. I do love to cook, and I like a pretty presentation. I like nice chinas. I do all that stuff and I enjoy it, but I can get over the top with it. And so I've done that this summer. I'm tired of cooking. I'm looking forward to spending 3 weeks doing it simply. I'll be eating plain food, simply prepared. I'll spend less time in the kitchen. I'll spend less time on preparation and cleanup. And I'm ready to do that. That normally I love, doing all the fuss and mess that I do, but I'm ready for a break from that. And I think my body is ready for a break.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really what, as we're moving into Vata season, which is the autumn, it's really calling us to root down and rest. If we look at the natural world, all the plants and trees are sending their energy back down to their roots as they lose their leaves and get ready for the cold weather coming. And we need to do the same. It's like our energy in the summer with the warmth, we're kind of like out in the world and more pulled by the warmth and the sun. And then as the weather cools, we can be a little bit more like, okay, root down, rest a little bit more. And so I hope with that extra time that you'll have from not cooking such fancy food that you'll rest.
I will. I'll rest and I'll do artwork and, those things that feed my spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's also what the detox is helpful for, is to reconnect with those things that are important to us that have maybe fallen by the wayside with the busyness of the summer, or just the intense change that we've all experienced from being in the world that we are in right now. And I can't imagine a better time to do a detox with what's going on just in our bigger picture here. So what lessons have you learned from the process of detoxing?
Well, I've learned to simplify what I do. I've learned to really look at the recipes and find those things that work for me. I've learned to listen better to my body. I've found that there are some dishes that are very nurturing and healing to my body, and I'll eat those more frequently during the detox. It will be simple soups and simple rice dishes and lot less meat. I only eat meat once a day now as a rule. That's my midday meal, but I'll eat less of that. I may week 1 and week 3, I may still have a small amount of meat during the midday meal, but I'll be leaning that out. I'll be vegetarian during my middle week. I probably will not go down. In fact, I won't go down to just broths. That doesn't work for me. But I have learned I can do smoothies. And so that took a long time for me to learn. It seems that it shouldn't be that hard, but it was for me. I just didn't think they would sustain me, but they do. They do. And so there are a lot of perceptions that I had coming into the detox, even the second detox, that, I had to let go of some preconceived notions and receive the wisdom of Ayurveda and accept that and try those things, get on my edgy side.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've talked about is it's a mindset piece about when we are focused on feeling deprived versus feeling that we get something, instead of feeling like, oh, I can't have whatever, like French fries, say, for these 3 weeks. And instead of looking at it like focusing on, I can't have the French fries, I can't have the French fries, I can't have the French fries, to then shift the mindset to, I get to have every day fresh vegetables and really nourishing food that is going to really clean out my system in a gentle and supportive way. Do you want to share anything about that mindset piece of the deprivation versus nourishment?
I would just, through Vitality Circle and working with Ayurveda practices for almost 2 years, I eat a pretty clean diet most of the time. I've eliminated most of the sugar in my diet. I try to stay away from that altogether. And the longer I'm away from it, the less I care about it. If I need a sweetener for something, which is rare now, I use maple syrup, a quality maple syrup. And, I don't miss that anymore. The
Mm-hmm.
fruits have taken the place of that. I've learned that things like beneficial fats like avocado or ghee, maybe a little olive oil, those help to sustain me and give me the nourishment added to my fresh ingredients. But I cook with fresh ingredients all the time.
Right.
And
So
so that's
as you've progressed, like doing the detox now won't be such a huge shift for you like
right.
it was the first one you did, right?
Absolutely. I was
Yeah.
still learning what were the foods that I needed to eat,
Yeah.
what were the recommendations. So the first detox was a challenge, and each one is in its own way, but it's more a natural part of my life today, and it really is for me cleaning up, simplifying, and making that food preparation and cleanup part of my life easier on me, and
Yeah.
my body and my spirit and my mind benefit from that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Um, yeah. So as Janet mentioned, there's like you can choose how you do this detox. So there's both beginner, intermediate, and advanced recommendations, and then there's your doshic recommendations too. So depending
Mm-hmm.
on, and there's a dosha quiz included, and so you find out what your predominant dosha is, your constitution, and you design your own detox from that. So that's what Janet's talking about when she's saying, like, I've learned these things about what I've needed. What she needs isn't what everybody else needs. So it's really awesome to use this experience to learn more about yourself and how to deeply nourish yourself, not just eating
Mm-hmm.
high quality food, but what food, and especially
Mm-hmm.
with the season, right? So
Mm-hmm.
as we're going into fall, we need a little bit more beneficial fat in our diet. This spring detox, we're not doing so much fat. We're doing more like liver cleansing, leafy greens. And so there's these shifts that we understand with the season. So I am so proud just listening to you talk about this. I'm like, she knows so much. It's so awesome. Let me just ask you one final question. What are your goals for this detox?
Well, I've gotten stuck on my weight piece, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm in hopes that this will be that little kickstart to take off a few more pounds. And I'm happy with that slow process.
Yeah.
And it's only natural that that will be one of the side effects because we do clean it up. We lower our portions a little bit, and we really work toward really aligning ourselves through that 3-week period as much as possible. And today, for me, it's very possible to do that for 3 weeks. I'll probably the third week I usually come out a little too fast. You know, I'm going to try to slow that down this time, and really observe. As I add things back in. But I've taken out dairy. I do almost no dairy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I've replaced my coffee with hot tea. I do have a little caffeine tea in the mornings, but after midday, I don't do caffeine anymore. I
So
sleep.
I just want to point out just like the before and after Janet. Like, this is a woman who used to, like, was a Southern baker, right?
Yes.
Cookies, cakes, sugar, everything, right?
Absolutely.
And drank a lot of coffee and
5 cups a day.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, 5 cups a day. So I just want to point out that there's this shift, and the dairy piece specifically was a realization that you had with the detox. You had thought, like, I don't have a problem with dairy, but it was coming out of the detox and adding dairy back into your diet that you had this aha, actually,
Absolutely.
dairy doesn't feel good to me. And that's a great learning, right? Just be like, oh, I thought I could eat all this dairy and cream, and, you know, these pieces were fine. And so, yeah,
they weren't
just those,
fine.
yeah. Right. And now you know those pieces. So thank you so much, Janet, for coming on and being our guest in Inspirational Interviews today. For those of you watching the replay, feel free to send in questions. Both Janet and I can answer those. Janet's an active member in this group too. And stay tuned. We'll have more guests next week to talk about their experience with detoxing. I just want you all to hear some real life experiences of what this looks like. And we're also going to have a surprise guest at another point next week sharing about their detox experience. So stay tuned. Thank you again, Janet. You all have a beautiful day. See you soon.
Bye.